Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And it is time for a review of the new Neil Cicierega project, Mouth Dreams. This is a new album of MEMETIC mashups from the one and only Neil Cicierega. Writer, artist, multi-instrumentalist, puppeteer, animator, producer, songwriter, Neil has been in the internet content creation game for quite a long time now. Between another music project he's known for, Lemon Demon, and this Smash Mouth inspired mashup series, I've covered his stuff on this channel quite a bit. If you're unaware, Mouth Dreams is the fourth installment in an ongoing series of hilarious cross-pollinations, condensing some of the worst and best musical touchstones of the past 20 to 40 years. Think Smash Mouth's All-Star fluidly coming together with Float On, even the Village People's YMCA over a Hans Zimmer piece. It's about as ridiculous as it sounds, but really impressive at the same time. The lengths to which Neil goes to edit some of the source material on these mashup projects to make them work, to make them fluid, to make them harmonize, is an art form in itself, especially when he's balancing 10 to 12 popular pieces of sound or music on a single track and making it work. And sure, while a lot of Neil's mashup output is patently absurd and ridiculous, I would also argue quite a bit of it, depending on the track, is genuinely fun and enjoyable music. Now, I've enjoyed nearly every installment of this mashup series so far. I had no reason not to go into this new one with the highest of hopes, especially considering how much of a stunner the intro here is. It is a futuristic, synthetic, grand display of sound with some classical undertones to it, and of course all of it is anchored by that trademark yodel that you've heard like in all of the old Yahoo commercials. Yahoo! Those yodels are stretched, layered, and pitched to the point where they actually create some really beautiful and compelling melodies and harmonies. The whole thing makes me feel like I'm about to cross over into some kind of meme afterlife, and honestly, I'm ready. I'm ready to give up existence on this planet to live side by side forever with Spongebob macros and, I don't know, images that question which chipmunk is getting the best head. Following this, we get another curious intro type moment that relies on heavy edits of the Twilight Zone original theme and monologue. It's a little tedious, but still disorienting and sets up the tone for everything, I guess. The first full mashup on this thing, though, is Queen's We Will Rock You with the Spongebob SquarePants theme. The vocals from that over the, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap. SpongeBob, SpongeBob SquarePants. Hilarious. Surely unexpected, but I can't say that I'm enjoying it in the same way I have other pieces on previous Mouth mashup projects. If it were in my feed, I'd retweet it, I'd share it with a friend, but past this point, am I going to find myself listening to it by myself or even with somebody just for pure enjoyment? Not necessarily. Not only because the joke runs a little thin, but I think once the Freddie Mercury vocals start coming in on the back end, you're really kind of beating it like a dead horse. The track is honestly bordering on some random SoundClown or YouTube mashup with 4,000 views on it type shit. The sort of thing where it's like, the Office theme, but it's Cher's Believe. And as I've positively reviewed Neil's mashups over the years, I've gotten a lot of comparisons of his music to that in a very derisive way. I have discounted those criticisms in the past because, again, I found Neil's previous mashups to be genuinely enjoyable, even if they are a little funny or a little meme-inspired. But again, this is like really getting close to that. We're really beginning to pop the bubble. So past this point in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, let's get into the real shit. Let's get some amazing mashups going. But then Neil is rolling through with Just a Baby, which is the instrumental from Hoobastank's The Reason, mainly with the vocals from Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. Now, comedic edits of Cash's vocals to make it seem like he is singing about being a baby aside, I just don't think the combo is working here. The structural marks get hit, and I'm sure melodically it's all functioning, but the sound of these two songs together just rings as painfully awkward to me, not really creating that aha moment that so many great Neil mashups do, where you're thinking, wow, how is this working? Then I went on to find a similar level of disappointment with the mashups and edits to come past this point. With Ribs, we get a very odd combination of the Chili's Baby Back Ribs theme song, Marilyn Manson's Beautiful People, which I'm sure that combination is happening because there was this weird rumor back in the day that Marilyn Manson like removed a rib to, you know, do the thing to himself. You'll find that as you go through this project and many Neil mashup projects in the past, that he'll connect two pieces or artists together for weird reasons such as these. But the instrumental bed to this track is Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which ends up creating another awkward, uncomplimentary combination that frankly is below Neil at this point. I think this is easily one of the most lazy edits he's ever put together. Not only because of a total lack of experimental and exciting details, but there's nothing really refreshing or interesting about hearing these pieces come together in the way that they do. On the track My Mouth, we are getting the vocals from Green Day's Brain Stew over the instrumental to Aerosmith's Dream On. God, the vocals don't work at all. They don't sound good over this instrumental at all. This track really should have been left on the cutting room floor. Then, keeping that Aerosmith momentum going, we have the vocals from Don't Wanna Miss a Thing over Foo Fighters' Everlong instrumental, which again, not only doesn't really work, but it's also like throwing a bunch of chopped onions into a perfectly good bowl of chocolate cake batter. And to be frank, as I'm listening to this, at this point on the project, I'm thinking, does he even want to do these anymore? Does he want to? Sleepin' is a somewhat funny edit of Lit's My Own Worst Enemy with a huge lyrical emphasis on the phrase sleepin' with my clothes on. Somehow Neil switches up the lyrics to the track to always circle back to that in some way, shape, or form. It's a kind of funny 1-minute gag, but not much else. I will say though, the edit of Dean Martin's That's Amore on track 11 is hilarious, twisted, and surreal. Feels like I've either dropped acid at a traditional Italian restaurant or, I don't know, the meme version of the Caretakers everywhere at the end of time, but the music that your dementia is taking away from you is Dean Martin. So about halfway through the record, hearing Fountains of Wayne's Stacy's Mom over the instrumental from Pixie's Where's My Mind is genuinely the first aha moment on the record. It's an enjoyable, harmonious, and genuinely smooth combination of the two. They sound quite natural together. But the enjoyment and momentum this creates is pretty short-lived, as the following two tracks we have a couple of Limp Bizkit mashups which are more annoying than entertaining, one of which involves the instrumental Tanuki and some Star Wars raps where, I mean, ugh. Typically, I enjoy it when Neil works something really tacky into something genuinely enjoyable or critically acclaimed. It sort of shows how, I guess, little daylight there is between some pieces of music that we tend to perceive in such different ways. However, to me, doing these tracks is kind of like pissing into an ocean of piss. There's not really anything to be gained out of hearing them put together. The song Cannibals is a breath of fresh air though, where on the instrumental side we have a bunch of interstitial synth bits from ads or bumpers on television or in movies. Most notably that synth rush that you may have heard before on those like THX intros for films. So that swell of synths, it's altered, it's warped, it's stretched out so it can serve as a bed over which he places the vocals from Fine Young Cannibals' She Drives Me Crazy. She drives me crazy. Which is not only enjoyable, it really changes the mood of the song. I think it's borderline genius, but on top of all of that, it inadvertently sounds like a Bon Iver track. The falsettos, the shallow echo, the experimental synths. It's also one of the longer mashups on the record, and every minute of it is gold. Then following this, we get what sounds like the acoustic guitars of Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt, combined with the vocals from Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, and the sounds of like a crowd booing. Yeah, it's not only unlistenable, but it pretty much embodies my feelings on the record at this point. At least it's self-aware. Following this, it's the Nine Inch Nails Closer instrumental and the vocals from Owl City's Fireflies, which again, another combination, another fusion that doesn't really sound like it fits. Plus, it's pretty low-hanging fruit in terms of the gag factor. But then the White Stripes Fell in Love with a Girl actually works quite nice over the classic Powerhouse instrumental that many people my age might have heard recycled over and over and over in many old-time cartoons. The sassy and tightly wound jazz horns and mechanical marching beat gel really nicely with Jack White's eccentric lead vocal. The final leg of the project is pretty mixed as well. I mean, the Pee Wee Herman theme and the vocals from Gorillaz Feel Good Inc., like, they don't even work half the time. Like, geez, melodically, harmoniously, is this making sense? There are moments where I'm even questioning if these two are lined up rhythmically, as 2D's lead vocal on the hook does feel kind of off. Then, amazingly enough, we have 10,000 Spoons, which is an edit of Alanis Morissette's Ironic with, the Knight Rider theme, over which Morissette's vocals gain an incredibly sinister sound. Plus, there are a few moments where Neil is dragging out and pitching her vocals and harmonizing them in a way that's quite interesting. Moments like this are why I listen to this series in the first place, just to hear a song, hear a musical idea, gain new meaning, new feeling in a totally different instrumental context. But beyond this, we have a short outro and then a few weird classical mashups of Britney Spears, Beethoven's Fifth, and then Weezer's Say It Ain't So, and the Hall of the Mountain King, neither of which gel all that well. So look, all I can say is across this project, I was violently veering back and forth between being so deeply disappointed and then also blown away. Mostly deeply disappointed though, as I think I can safely say that Mouth Dreams is the worst in this series, and that's by about at least several miles. To the point where if you didn't tell me some of these tracks were genuine Neil mashups, I would have just assumed they were bad YouTuber SoundCloud memes. Or someone just ripping off Neil's work, frankly. Feeling a light 4 on this one, Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Neil Cicierega, forever.